But please, we're here to support you. Don't feel alone in all of this. We're all going through tough times. I have failed 200% at homeschooling and working from home tremendously. So I'm, at the moment, we've all got different, difficulties that we're dealing with. Hang in there. We're all simply doing what we can.
Okay, so Hilda's written two questions, but I'm going to put one up on the screen. One is regarding, she doesn't necessarily like the statement put out by the Vice Chancellor and the Student Union, but I think her question probably sums up why. I'm a private landlord and getting emails from students saying they will move out and won't be coming back and won't be paying rent anymore. I take it legally that they cannot do that, right? So Hilda's worried that there's advice being given out, I think, which is she's posted on the comments, which says one thing. I think it's just to urge landlords to try and help students, but we can debate that with the Vice Chancellor or the Student Union at some point. But Hilda's main question here, the students moved out, so they're not paying anymore. They're not going to respect their 12-month contract, their 9-month contract, whatever they have with their landlord. I'll put it to Bryn to begin with, because I know we've discussed this offline, and you've campaigned for landlords to behave well in the past. Shouldn't renters be behaving well in these circumstances if they can?
I think that's an excellent question. And ultimately, we all have rights and responsibilities. Renters have rights, they also have responsibilities to their landlords as tenants, and they need to fulfil those responsibilities. When a landlord isn't doing that job, well, shelter will be there for renters to make sure that they're taken care of, and that's why we're here.
Liani, you don't have to answer the question or even respond if you don't want to. This is not supposed, this is not question time. This is this is supposed to be a helpful broadcast. But Hilda has made a point. So what would your advice to students be at the moment?
As I've sort of said earlier, and I think perhaps just tidying in a little bit with Hilda's second comment, which I'm sort of reading in the corner of my screen here, the statement that was released earlier in the week is to encourage those who can. We understand that everybody's not the same, and landlords are as much stakeholders in the university as they are in our community. They're a valuable part of our housing stock, and we always thank them for how well they look after our students. In terms of Hilda's question, legally, no, they can't do that. If they are signed up to a contract, they are contractually obligated unless the government releases funds for landlords. Those renters, as Bryn said, have rights and responsibilities. One of your responsibilities is to adhere to the terms of your contract, much like employers have to do with employees, and the list goes on and on. It doesn't give you free rein, whether you're a student or a normal private sector professional tenant. It doesn't give you right to stop paying your rent, and it's an unfortunate situation, but that is the reality of what we are faced with. So my encouragement to all students: please don't stop paying your rent. The consequence of doing that, although a very long-winded process, is that your landlord may pursue you through the courts. That your deposit might not cover all the outstanding rent, highly unlikely to. And to go through a court process is an absolutely horrific thing. It's a lot of money, it's a lot of stress, and it's a lot of time. And I would just say, think about what you are doing to the individual on the other side. And it's a two-way street. Both parties are suffering. So let's work on the best possible way forward, really. Rather than trying to walk away and be difficult. Yeah,
I think I wasn't going to comment on this, but I guess I'm kind of a paid up member of the Ethicist Society, and I think that where we can, where it's financially possible, we should fulfil our obligations and our contracts and our agreements with individuals, whatever it might be. It might be a contract for housing or contracts on a car or a bicycle or whatever, or mobile phone, yeah. And if we are running out of money, because the economy is shifting in ways that we've never seen, I think communication with your landlord, communication with the university is vital. If you've rented through Liani and her team, then they are there to help. That's the safeguard, and that's why we probably recommend you go through university lettings if you can. That's my view anyway. And also, if you are facing stress or anxiety around any of these issues, please don't hesitate to contact the Centre for Wellbeing. We now have a triage system from Zoom where you can go by Zoom, and I don't have the Zoom thing on me here, but you can look elsewhere on the union pages, and they will assign you either a counsellor. They can come and see a chaplain. We're very good with friendly chats and advice, or you can just have, or you can go to the Finance and Hardship Fund at the university. Don't be proud, because believe it or not, lots and lots of people are in this boat, and probably hundreds, if not thousands, of students are in this boat, and they weren't a couple of weeks ago, as family incomes around the UK are sadly threatened by the current virtual shutdown of the economy. Any final words? I think that's our final question. Bryn, we were going to come to you for a final.
On the issue of private landlords.
Yes, yeah.
I mean, it's a really, really difficult situation for anybody at the moment who's worrying about their income. I mean, we have frontline NHS workers, people working in retail, very low pay, really worrying about their money still going out there to work. It's not just tenants, it's also landlords who are worrying. It's a really, really difficult time. So I think the first thing we've got to do is just take a deep breath and acknowledge that we're all in the same boat. And to each other where we can. And get advice. If you've got an issue, if you're worried, get professional advice. If that's about housing, go to shelter. If you need to speak to the Citizens Advice Bureau, the really, really good comprehensive agency to be able to advise you. Likewise for students, speak to your accommodation officer, speak to your student union, speak to your chaplain. Don't be alone. And that stands for landlords as much as for renters, for employers as much as for workers.
Okay, well, that's really helpful advice. I want to thank two of you for coming on. I hope Hilda got the answer, or at least some of the answers that she wanted there. We don't want to. We as Liani says, we are dependent on a mixed economy of housing for our students in Guildford, and we've asked for ethical landlords in the past, and will continue to do so. And ethics go both ways. Oh, here we go. I think that's a nice way to end the show. Hilda says thank you, and I think a lot of other students say thank you, because I think the generic questions that are coming up are going to be questions that everybody's asking. So you've been on here for longer than I said you had to be. And I'm very grateful. But thank you, Liani. Thank you, Bryn.
Robert, Alex, if I can leave us just with one note. The lettings team at the moment are running an Easter raffle. Don't know whether you've seen it yet, but you can head to either university or the University of Surrey Lettings Facebook pages, where all the details are posted. We are raising money for Papyrus, who are prevention in young suicide, specifically focusing on 17 to 35-year-olds. It's £2 a ticket. It's an amazing 40-centimetre high Easter egg worth £200 that you can win. Tickets are £2 to enter, and it closes at midnight tonight. So if anybody's still interested, please get there and get your tickets before they all run out. It's for a good cause. And, I think we at Surrey are no strangers to suicide in young people. So if you've got anything spare at the moment, we've just spoken about how nobody has any money, but if you've got any to spare, we'd be really grateful for any of your input.
So where will we find that again?
So it's either on the university's social media on their Facebook page. There was a post, or on University of Surrey Lettings Facebook page. You'll see the post with competition details and links. I'll share it in the comments.
That's been put up before, so we'll try and share that on a link after the programme. But it sounds like an extremely good cause, and as you said, I know some of our chaplains have been involved, sadly, in this. That Surrey sadly has had a number of suicides over the years, and our thoughts go out to them and their families. It's a great cause, as our thoughts go out to those who may be suffering from the current situation, either health-wise or financially. Thank you very much for everything. And if we get more demand for this, and I have to say it seems to be quite high demand from the figures coming up, we might invite both of you back for a second round in a month's time, when I imagine the plates will have shifted yet again. So thank you very much and have a good afternoon.
Thanks so much, Alex.
Yeah.
Thank you.